So our coaching moment today is major career changes and identity. I grew up in business and managed people from a very young age. Yes, there were goals, lofty ones. What was more important to me was the purpose and who I was making a difference for, really the cause. And in the 70s and 80s, I was primarily cause-driven. I still am today. I also had goals regarding upward mobility. Starting in sales as well as back office support, I worked diligently to progress my skills and my title. I worked in a variety of positions in the management arena, and I finally achieved the position I sought in the 1980s. I'd worked for many companies because of my specialty. I went to work for broken companies, and then I proceeded to fix them. When they were fixed, my skill set was not needed for maintenance. At this point, I went on to the next opportunity. I might have had a 10 or 7-year stint here or there. On average, I fixed a poorly performing company with 18 months or less. I loved what I did and the people I supported in my work. My goal was to leave people with more knowledge than they had when I arrived. Personally, I was attached to my title or position because I felt it was who I was. Over time, my position became my identity. Fast forward to 30 years later, I was tired. We had just faced a recession of economic proportions. In 2010, unemployment in California was over at an all-time high of 2.3 million people unemployed. It was April 10th, 2010 that I walked away from a high-paying job and added myself to the unemployment statistic. In those moments, I was inspired to become a business coach so I could assist owners and executives in creating functionally healthy businesses. I was setting out on a journey to fulfill what my great-grandparents, grandparents, and parents had taught me. Wait, stop a minute. Hold the presses. That was a crisis. I just realized my position and title were worthless as I moved forward. Since that was my identity, what does that mean for me? Now, this is a crisis of epic proportions. How do I move forward? Where is my credibility? Why would people listen to me? This is really, really bad. Over the next 6 months, I wrestled with this new reality. I had never been there, no experience in how to maneuver. What do I do? Well, I chose to act. I talked to people, I networked, I took classes, I got certified, I went to CEO space, I immersed myself in NLP for 16 months. I prepared myself to step into the new role of the new Doreen Milano. In taking the time to recreate my identity of who I was and not my title or job or what I was, I learned quite a bit about myself. Taking time to reevaluate is a good thing. I have skills. I have talent. My old genius morphed to be of use to me today in new and exciting ways. The shock of change makes that transition a scary thing at any age. Take stock of yourself, get support, and never give up. You are worth every moment of the movement. Coaches, teachers, parents, extended family, friends are all part of a support group assisting each of us in achieving our goals. Age does not matter in transition. It happens no matter how old we are. Take stock and recognize that you need what you need and you need to move forward. Have a great day.
You're tuned into Big Ideas Small Business with Doreen Milano. Doreen brings energy, focus, and creativity with the most cutting-edge tools and systems needed to grow business, drive profits, and achieve dreams. Ready to rise? Here's your host, Doreen Milano.
Welcome to Big Ideas Small Business. Today we're going to talk to Crystal Scanio from the Irving Schools Foundation. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you, Doreen. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be a really exciting time because I haven't gone back to school in years.
You're having flashbacks, right?
I'm having flashbacks. Trust me, I'm having flashbacks. So tell us a little bit about how the Irving Schools Foundation came to be.
So we have a very rich history. We were actually started in 1985, and originally we were created as the fundraising arm of the district. And back then we were 12% free and reduced lunch, a very different community than we are today. And we provided some funding to our teachers to help them with their trainings. And flash forward, we are now at 100% free and reduced lunch. The demographics have changed in our area, and we are really having to meet the needs. So we have transformed and become a totally different organization now, to where we really serve the whole child.
Amazing. Now, schools are a business, right?
Right.
And they get paid because this is a crude way of saying that, but there's a butt in a chair somewhere. Mm-hmm. And if there's no butt in the chair, they don't get money.
Right.
And so some of our schools are really suffering because they don't have the funding to continue the process of education. Right? So how does the Irving Schools Foundation help the school move that forward?
Our goal as an organization is to fill that gap. So the state can only provide so much for our students. And like you said, if they're not in their seats, then the school district doesn't get paid. And a lot of our kids, like I said, we're 100% free and reduced lunch, which means that the majority, or 100% of our families, make less than $24,000 a year to provide for everything that their students need, including food, clothing, school supplies, any kind of extra enrichment. So our goal is to provide that equity to where we get our kids the extras that they need to compete on a global spectrum. You know, our kids are going to go out to universities and have kids from all over the world that went to the private schools, that had the private tutors, and our kids, unfortunately, due to budget constraints, didn't have that. So that's where we come in and provide that to our students and their families.
So how does that work? I mean, that's really, it's great work and it's a lot of work, but you are running on donations.
100% donations. Yes, Doreen, you hit the nail on the head. We rely on our community to take care of us and our students, because it's a huge need. We have 35,000 students. We also have programs for their parents, so that's 80,000 parents. We also have programs for our little kids that are matriculating up into our schools, age 2 to 4, and there's about 1,000 kids in that program. So on an annual basis, we serve over 125,000 individuals, and it's overwhelming if we didn't have community support.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about our future business leaders and our future political leaders that are going to these schools in these conditions. Right?
This is our future workforce.
This is our future workforce. So what does the foundation, how does it operate? What happens? Because I haven't been to the foundation. I haven't walked in the doors yet. But from what I understand, it's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you. Like I said, we try and serve the whole child. So the really neat thing about being a small organization like we are is that we're able to change on short notice. So we had a counselor call us one time, and we did not have a program where we fed our students. And the counselor came to us and said, I had a student yesterday picking an apple core out of the trash can and eating it because he had not eaten for 4 days over our long weekend. And she said it to me straight. She said, what are you going to do as an organization to help this student? We can't help as teachers because we have limitations and we have rules, but you as an outside organization could come in and help. And we immediately went to work and created our Food for Thought program. So now on a weekly basis, we serve 1,500 kids every single week that are in that same scenario, and anyone can nominate them. We've had other students say, hey, my buddy yesterday told me that he hadn't had anything to eat over the entire spring break. And you think about these kids, when I was a kid in school, I looked forward to spring break. I looked forward to summer break. I looked forward to winter break, right? It was like, oh, I don't have to go to school. For a lot of our kids in our area, school is their safe place. They go there because they have electricity. They have sometimes escape from their abusers at home, sometimes escape from the community that maybe they want to get out of. And for a lot of our kids, they see school as their exit out. That's their key to get out of the situation they might be in. So when we're closed during those breaks, they don't look forward to it, unfortunately.
Okay, I never wanted to spend one extra minute in school that I didn't have to.
You and me both.
So seeing that paradigm shift is mind-boggling to me. That school is then the safe space.
Right.
Home is not the same safe space that you would assume that it should be. Right? So how do those kids actually survive?
It takes a village. We have, like I said, programs for our parents, and a lot of our parents want to help their students. They want to, but there's sometimes a language barrier, sometimes there's fear. A lot of our programs, we find that our parents won't sign up for it because they're afraid of what might happen, what kind of list they might be put on, immigration issues, CPS issues. So, but they want to help. So we need to invest in our parents. They're students' first teachers at home. They are our advocates that when our kids go home, they're trying to help reinforce what they learned during the day. And then it's working with our kids, and trying to make sure they have everything they need.
Now, one of the things that I've heard is that one of the programs that you've created, there's actually a store. Is that right?
Yes, store without a cash register. So we use store. It's really neat. My mom was a teacher, and so my mom would always tell me that she'd go out and, Jimmy forgot pencils that day, so she'd go and buy pencils for him, constantly buying tissue boxes for her classroom. And so what we found is that a lot of our teachers, and a lot of them, they were so sweet, they'd bring their tax returns and say, I spent $3,000 last year on my classroom. And we don't want that. We don't want our teachers to go out and spend their own money to outfit their classrooms and take care of their kids.
They're not going to pay that much anyway.
Right. And we want them to focus on what they need to focus on educating their kids and not worrying about, I don't have the supplies, or he doesn't have what he needs, so he can't learn today. And it's this disruption in class. So our store, without a cash register, allows teachers, anyone really from campus, to come in and shop for anything they need for their classroom. We have socks and underwear, so we have a lot of kids that don't have some clean clothes. We have uniforms, shoes, coats, and then we have all the school supplies, all the teacher supplies, office equipment, everything that they need. And it's really neat when they come in. I've had so many, especially brand new teachers, start bawling when they see the opportunity that's in front of them, that they can then feel like that burden's taken off their shoulders.
Okay, we're going to continue this conversation about the store, but we're going to take a moment and talk to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
What is the role of American government anyway? Is the role of government to decide where I can go and where I can't? Is the role of government to work tirelessly to destroy vital infrastructure that keeps goods and services from my customers? Is the role of government to choose who can drive, fly, or ride according to mandated stipulations that threaten my body, health, mind, and conscience? Without medical freedom legislation in place, our rights and freedoms are one vote away from being dissolved. Individually, change is improbable, but as an aggregate, attainable. It's time to act with one voice. My voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
And my voice.
To protect our freedom, creating one voice that cannot be ignored. This requires your voice too. Your voice, your feet, your vote, not just at the ballot box, but training to be a poll watcher, precinct chair, judge, or early ballot counter, so you are doing all you can to protect the fairly counted American vote. Move Freely America. Go to movefreelyamerica.org to find a chapter near you. Plug in, donate, and help our legislators defend our God-given rights under the Constitution. Move Freely America, because my voice
and my voice,
together with your voice, we're one voice that cannot be ignored. Donate today. MoveFreelyAmerica.org. Interested in starting a podcast or TV show? Worried about what you'll say and how to keep it engaging? Think you'd like to be a guest on podcast, radio, or TV shows? Hi, I'm Susan Hamilton, owner and founder of OBBM Network, and I would like to invite you to an OBBM media training to get the tools you need for a relaxed and polished performance you'll be proud to share. Our specialized training techniques include role play, voice training, and everything you need to deliver a confident, clear, and engaging interaction. Go to offbeatbusiness.com. Go to the calendar and register for a training that's convenient for you. Dates available now, 214-714-0495.
team building strategies and why they matter. Brought to you by Visions to Excellence. Be aware of how you work. As the leader of your team, you must be extremely aware of your leadership style and techniques. Get to know the rest of your team. Make sure you have invested the time to understand how they think and what is required to motivate them to excel beyond what is expected. Clearly define roles and responsibilities. Each of your team members' responsibilities must be interconnected and dependent upon one another. Give feedback. This should be proactive and constant. The key is communication. Acknowledge and reward. Being genuine in your recognition and respect goes a long way towards building loyalty and trust. To learn more, visit visionstoexcellence.com. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. Big Ideas Small Business, and we are talking to Crystal Scanio with the Irving Schools Foundation, and we're learning what the foundation does for the school district, right?
Yeah.
And specifically for the kids.
Right.
Right? So the school district's job is to provide an education. There are many barriers between the kid and the education.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so the foundation's job is to remove as many of those barriers as possible?
Absolutely.
Is that what I'm understanding?
That's what we do. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've got that right. Mm-hmm. That's good. So in that process, you have got supplies for kids to use in school. Mm-hmm. So that takes care of one of the barriers.
Right.
Don't have what you need to do the job, right? Then you've got clothing for kids. Mm-hmm. Because they don't have clothes at home.
Right.
Right? And then there's food for kids, correct?
Right.
So where does all this money come from? How can you operate?
We rely completely on our community, whether it's a corporation that gives to us. We have a lot of individuals, and I always tell everyone every dollar counts. And I'll give you an example. Our teachers collectively give us $350,000 every year. Some of them give us $1, some of them give us $5, some give us $20. It adds up. And what I love about that, I love to share that with people because these teachers don't make a lot of money themselves.
No, they don't.
And they are willing to invest their own money back into their kids because they see it. You know, they're walking the walk, they're our feet on the street, they're seeing these kids come in on a Monday after a long weekend hangry because they haven't eaten all weekend. They see our kids cutting out the front of their tennis shoes because their shoes are too small and they can't afford to buy a new pair. They see our kids struggling to compete with others when they go to national conferences and they come back, and it's just, it's a matter of pride for a lot of our kids that they just don't feel like they can compete, and that's where we step in, and we want to make sure that they feel proud and that they feel
They've
like
got
a normal
what they need,
kid.
right?
Yeah.
So let's be real. The environment that you and I grew up in when we were kids in the school systems is a totally different environment today. Mm-hmm. So if we think that a kid goes to school and it's like us stepping into school when we were kids, not happening, right?
Right.
And it hasn't been happening for how many years?
It's been a while, and you know, COVID definitely threw a curveball to our campuses and our schools too, where a lot of our families were already feeling that crunch and that
it just got
stress,
worse, didn't
and
it?
now COVID just added so much to it.
So when we're talking about taking care of what the kids need, you rely completely on donations.
Yes.
And when we're talking about that, I'm sure you have fundraisers that you do during
mm-hmm.
the year, right?
Yes, we do have fun fundraisers.
Such as, I think you have a golf tournament, don't you?
We used to do a golf tournament. Now we do a big gala.
Okay.
And at our gala, we recognize different countries. So we are very proud to share that we have 96 different countries represented in Irving ISD, 56 different languages and dialects spoken. So
Which is another barrier to learning.
Absolutely, it's a beautiful thing, and I love the diversity in our city and in our school district. But it poses a little bit of a challenge to where our families are speaking, like I said, 56 different dialects and languages, and to be able to communicate and help their student is really a challenge, which is why those parent programs are so important. But yes, at our big gala, that's our #1 fundraiser. That's where we invite the community in for a fun night. We have entertainment. A lot of our kids do performances, and we have an auctioneer. And pre-COVID in 2019, we raised $750,000 at that event. That was our #1 fundraiser that provided funds for all of our programming.
So have you had a gala since then?
No. COVID and I'll speak for all nonprofits really, COVID hurt nonprofits it's been a little bit overwhelming because our need has grown. Our kids that were on the cusp of needing our assistance pre-COVID are now definitely needing our assistance. So our numbers have tripled, but we're not able to do the same fundraisers we used to be able to do. We're not able to get out in the community and invite people to come in and donate to us. So we really need that word of mouth, that grassroots fundraising to where you go and tell your friends, hey, did you know that there are kids literally in our backyard that are not eating for weeks at a time? And we just need that message to be spread. So thank you for giving me the opportunity today to
Well, I just thought it was a big message that really needed to get out.
Yeah.
And I think that is just one of the things that we as a community can do to support the future.
Yes.
Right? Now, one of the things that you've got going on is the Irving the foundation has created a food pantry, is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the food pantry is open to the kids.
Yes, via the counselors. We allow our schools to nominate students. So if someone on the campus identifies a student as needing that service, we have our counselors, which are just our angels here on earth. They are, if you know someone that's a counselor, thank them today. They are incredible human beings. During COVID, when our kids weren't coming into the classroom, our counselors would walk the streets and find these students. We had a family that was hopping from motel to motel because of budget constraints again, and they didn't have a cell phone. This counselor found them. She went to every motel in the area and finally found the family and said, I know you need help, and delivered the groceries to them. So we are just so thankful for these counselors that have helped us with this mission. The biggest question I get asked is, why would we create a food pantry? Why not send our families to all the other food pantries in the area? And the biggest part of that is just the fear that these families have. Fear, also transportation. We bring it to them. They trust us. They know us. They know their counselors. They've worked.
They don't have to stand in line.
They don't have to stand in line, and we are very discreet. Everything we do is with dignity, because if I were in that situation, and it could happen to any of us tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I would want to make sure that my family wasn't spotlighted and, oh, that's the one that gets assistance in the classroom. We want to make sure that these kids get the help and they don't even know it. I have an intern right now that, and I'm allowed to share his story, he's told me I can,
yes.
That he actually received our services for years and had no idea until he started working for us. And he came to one of our programs and he was there, and we were distributing Christmas gifts to families, about 400 families that came through. And he went home to his mom and he said, Mom, we were poor. How come we never did that? We could have gotten that too. And the mom said, we did. We got it every year. But we provide the wrapping paper to the families, we provide the presents, and it gives them that pride that they are still giving something to their kids, even though they need the assistance to be able to do it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. So in this process, what is it that you want the community to know?
Oh, a lot, Doreen.
Well, go for it. Now's your time. Let's go.
No. I would say the biggest thing is just that there is a need. I do hear from a lot of individuals that, well, I pay taxes and that takes care of, the schools. That takes care of the tables, the chairs, the basic needs. These kids need more. Again, it's our future workforce. We need to invest in them now. I've had so many talks with police officers and our police chief in Irving, and there's a direct correlation between education and crime. And if we invest in education, the crime definitely goes down because these kids feel like someone out there
Cares.
about them
Yeah.
and is willing to invest in them. So let's invest. It's the most proactive way. Invest in these kids when they're young, and we can set them on the right track, and they'll be great contributors to our society. So that's really what I want people to know, is just it's an investment now for a fabulous future.
So how do people learn more? I mean, before I give to a charity, I want to know that that charity is going to be making a difference for the people that I want to support, right? So how do people know? I mean, I met you at Lysema Club and through the Rotary and through other groups, right? But if I didn't know you, I wouldn't know anything about the Irving Schools Foundation. So let's answer that in just a moment. We're going to take a commercial break right now.
Team building strategies and why they matter. Brought to you by Visions to Excellence. Be aware of how you work. As the leader of your team, you must be extremely aware of your leadership style and techniques. Get to know the rest of your team. Make sure you have invested the time to understand how they think and what is required to motivate them to excel beyond what is expected. Clearly define roles and responsibilities. Each of your team members' responsibilities must be interconnected and dependent upon one another. Give feedback. This should be proactive and constant. The key is communication. Acknowledge and reward. Being genuine in your recognition and respect goes a long way towards building loyalty and trust. To learn more, visit visionstoexcellence.com. Thanks for watching.
This is the transaction you've been looking forward to. Your client is getting a great deal. It's time to go to the title company and sign the closing documents. Deadlines must be met for funding to happen so the buyer can get the keys. Call me, Lisa Harvell, at 469-914-2686 for quick underwriting decisions, in-house attorneys, and up-to-date technology to ensure an efficient closing. We're DFW's secured title of Texas solution for 1031s, commercial properties, residential purchases, and equity loans, and more. A proper title search ensures taxes and mortgages have been paid, there are no judgments against the seller, and the restrictions are in line with planned use. Secured Title of Texas makes it easy for you to move forward with organized title experts who protect lenders and home buyers from liens and defects in title or actual ownership of the property. Call me, Lisa Harvell, with Secured Title of Texas at 469-914-2686. Get it done right, get it done on time, 469-914-2686.
Welcome back. This is Doreen Milano, and we're talking to Crystal Scanio. And Crystal, the ball is in your court, girl. Tell us really what it is that people need to be able to make that transition to being involved, to helping the kids.
Yeah, there's a ton of organizations out there, and they're all doing a great job. There are a lot of nonprofits, but I would say the first thing I would tell someone if they said, I want to help, I don't know where to start, I would say get involved. Go get your hands dirty, really get in there and see what they do.
Now you have events
to
do that.
We do. We invite the community to come in and help us pack bags of food for kids on the weekend. Come in and get your hands dirty. Once it touches your hands, it'll touch your heart because you'll see the real need, and it really makes that connection. We have a great warehouse that a donor actually gave us a very nice donation to be able to go out and get. We have a little store there where we sell honey, actually, that our kids produce, and other merchandise that has Irving Schools Foundation on it. That's where our C2C store is, the store without a cash register. And then we have our warehouse where we pack our food. So we love for the community to come in, and there's a constant need. So we need their time, we need their treasure, and we need their talent. And I would say just a good balance of all of those. I have a lot of people tell me, I don't have a lot of money to give. Awesome, give your time. Give your talent. Maybe you're really good at marketing. Most nonprofits are terrible at marketing because we don't have the time to do it. So help them out in that way.
Great piece of advice. So how do you if you got the magic bullet, right? The thing that you really needed, it's time to ask for it. What is it that you need?
Like I mentioned, we need people's time. That's probably the biggest thing, is we have such a big need, and we're a small staff. We have a lot of volunteers, but we need more. Every single week we are scrambling to feed 1,500 kids. That's a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids. Every single one of our programs, we need hands. We need funding. You know, it's hard to ask for it, but I'll be direct, and we need funding. All of our programs are very expensive, but they are all making such a big impact. Like I said, it's an investment.
So if you have a business and you have a give back day for your employees, hook up with Crystal, have the employees support the Irving Schools Foundation. You can give money, you can give time. This is an opportunity for you to give back to your community. How can we reach you, Crystal?
We can be reached, irvingschoolsfoundation.org is our website, and you can really learn a lot about what we do through that website. We're also very active on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So please go and find us and learn more about us.
And is there a phone number that we can call?
Yes, 972-600-5018.
That is awesome. Let's all make a commitment. Let's give back to the kids. Let's give our community the future that it needs. Call, make an appointment, come and volunteer. Do something wonderful this summer. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, Doreen Milano here. You already know the squeeze family businesses have in acquiring new talent. You could also be feeling that very same squeeze when it comes to growing your business and gaining new clients. What if I told you there was a way to become the employee of choice in your field? How would you like more cash flow, more clients who love you, and employees who feel great working with you and your clients? I've helped hundreds of family-owned businesses, just like yours, who are now reaping the benefits of plentiful cash flow, increased revenue in the millions, employees who love where they work, and loyal clients. I've spent over 30 years developing the tool chest and working in the corporate space, helping companies of all sizes attain maximum profitability. You are not wrong or at fault. The struggle in family business is very real. Your business needs more cash flow, more profits, more leads, and happy employees. Spending the last 12 years working with family businesses, I've been upgrading and proving that these strategies actually work. The system is based on several key strategic components around people, strategies, process, and profits. I'm sharing my strategies with the owners of family businesses who want an edge in today's challenging market without having to reinvent the wheel. If you want to know more, go to v2e.biz or give me a call at 650-483-5798.